You're listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kerbyson, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerbyson, joined with Reed Bacon. God, it feels good. Beat them, Bama boys. Another victory for Heupel and Dixieland. What a fantastic turn of events. Didn't look very great at the beginning, but we finished. We finished strong. So love that. Before we jump into anything, if you guys are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download for us, and follow us on social media. You know all those ats. But man, I'm so excited to jump into this. So excited to talk to Reed because he was actually at the game and get his perspective from it. So let's jump into it. Reed, how are we doing, bud?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Come on, baby.
Come on.
Roll Tide, baby.
Get your studies out.
Man. It feels good.
Don't it?
Real good. I'll just start with the quote. It's a great one. It's simple and gets right to the point. Megan and I went to the game yesterday. We got dropped off on campus by my lovely mother, Karen. We did our walk through Circle Park down to G10. I go there to see some of my boys, Jacksontown. And Jack and I get, embrace, hug, talk for a minute. We're talking, sitting there. He's talking to Megan.
You and Jack have a pretty good track record at games.
We do. We actually didn't go to this one together. He went with his family, and I went with Megan. But we're standing there talking and, talking about the game, catching up on live. Jack's being a good guy, asking Megan, like, hey, how's your school year going? Because she's a teacher. How's your classroom? And he's, and he's had some beverages, but he's, so he's a little loose, but he's with it. But, so he's trying to be nice, incorporate Megan in the conversation. All of a sudden, some Bama fans walk by. He just nonchalantly, while talking to Megan, looks at him and says, the Tide. and it was just, and he didn't bleep it out. Like I just bleeped it out for myself. He actually said it. And then he just goes right back to Megan and talking. And I was like, F the Tide.
Yeah, that's right.
If you got kids in the car, you're listening to it, just bleep it out for 1 second. Fuck the Tide, man. Screw them. And so it was just so funny how he did that. And then it brought me back to 2 years ago when we watched the game together and we're up in the Alabama section and he's just giving them hell. And then, he's talking. He asked me how I felt about the game. And I'll be honest, people asked me how I felt. And I said, I feel fine. Like, I don't think we win, unfortunately. It was just all the way up until that point. I had seen Jalen Milroe and Ryan Williams make plays. I had seen Tennessee make them, but not enough of them. And so I knew our defense would be really, really good. But I just didn't not that I didn't trust our team, but,
I was nervous going into it. We talked about it last week. I was like, this is like nut cutting time. This is one of those games where it's like both teams are 5-1. Both teams have a chance for a good spot in the playoff. Both teams are trying for an SEC championship, a national championship. This game matters a lot. And it was just two dogs going at it. And, what I'd seen out of Jalen and out of their offense and what they did to Georgia and then what our offense had been the past few weeks and, not scoring any points in the first half for 3 weeks in a row. It was very much like, I don't know if we can because I haven't seen the execution yet. Catch up with what we're able to do.
Yeah, and that's what I just told Jack, and I told a couple other buddies that I went and saw later, and we talked, and A couple of them felt good and thought Tennessee would win. A couple of them said, "No, I don't think we do." But back to Jack, I said, Megan was like, "Well, how do you feel about the game, Jack?" And he's like, he goes, "I don't, this is just different, man. This is different. This is everything. Like this third Saturday in October, I hate Alabama. He goes, I got Tennessee money line. He's like, I'll ride with them. I'll go down with the ship with them."
Yeah.
And I said, well, usually if I feel really good about a game, we end up losing. And if I'm a little nervous, we end up winning. Realistically, the only one I can think about, I felt pretty good about Florida last week, and we ended up pulling it out. I felt really good about Florida last year. We lost that one. But the one big game that I felt really, really confident about that we ended up winning was the Bama game 2 years ago. And so, but it was nice that alive where I was like, man, I don't trust it. And then this team just at all levels started executing and making plays. Really, that's what this game down to was the plays have been there to be made. And we finally made them on all levels at all positions. And so there it is.
Jack.
I got F the Tide, Jack G.
I love it.
So I'm going to say just one other thing real quick, and we can jump into it, or just like a few other things kind of to the intro. But, atmosphere was incredible as always. It was from start to finish. Neyland is undefeated. I
like
thought
the orange out.
What's that?
I like the orange out.
Yeah.
They tried to do. I like that. I like the all orange.
Yeah. I get a little annoyed when I'm told what to wear because it always messes up my swag, but whatever. So anyways, I thought the game plan for Bama was exactly what I would have done. Quarterback run, try to chuck it to Ryan Williams. Ryan Williams, I didn't even know this till watching it. And I'll be honest with you, like in the stadium, I was like, man, I haven't heard much from Ryan Williams today. And I know he had some catches and caught the one touchdown on Ricky, which I thought was really good coverage by Ricky. They went to him on the Jamon McCoy pick. But the funny thing is like, I didn't like going into it. I was like, if I'm Bama, I'm quarterback running and I'm just giving him as many opportunities on the outside as I can. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
And we still stopped it.
Every single time that he saw one-on-one coverage, he threw it. Even if it was like a called run play, he would just pull it and throw it.
I've never seen in my life, honestly, I can't remember any ever where a dang receiver had 9 targets in the first quarter. That is insane.
Yeah, he wasn't even looking anybody else's way. Well, I mean, Tim Banks, I think it was part of Tim Banks' game plan. He was like, I trust Jamad. Like, I trust my guys. You know what? I am going to put you in man, and I'm gonna stop the run. And Alabama was like, okay, if we're in man, we're throwing it no matter what. And that's why there were so many targets. But
I'll say this. I think besides Tim saying I'm going to trust my guy, Jamon McCoy, he trusted them all. Jalen McMurray came in and played against Ryan Williams. Ricky Gibson was in coverage a lot. He didn't have Jamon McCoy travel. But that's just my point is like everybody made plays. Last thing for this open, and then we can go. The only other thing is, they brought out the baseball team, which was cool. They brought out they brought out Todd Helton, which was cool. I thought the crowd did a great job for the baseball team. I did think it'd be a little bit louder, and it still was like kind of funny because I know how much Tennessee loves that baseball team. But it's like it just reminds you that football is always will be king. Oh yeah, they brought the basketball team out too. And so, like, they all got great applauses, but it was almost like we were trying to catch our breath during the TV timeout. They bring them out, so we're loud, but it's not like, rambunctious.
It's also that probably happened in the first half, I'm guessing.
It did.
And in the first half, we're not, doing what we need to be doing on the field. Right. So fans are kind of like, listen, yeah, we like you guys, but we need to make sure to get this right. Yeah,
I don't want to say it wasn't a good. It was a really good applause. I just thought they would have maybe gone berserk, but it's hey, we're trying to win this football game. But fast forward after they did baseball, Todd Helton, and then basketball and AK and Alontae Taylor. They shouted them out. But it was kind of at that point where Nico had just gone down. It looks like he's hurt. Gaston Moore's thrown the pick on in the stadium. We didn't really know if Nico was like done or what until maybe 3 plays in on defense. And I just noticed that Nico was over on the sideline because I'm behind Bama and I see him throwing. So I look at Megan and I'm like, hey, like that's a great sign because I'm sitting there thinking like, holy moly, this could be disastrous.
Yeah.
And so about that time, it all kind of looks like it's falling apart in 2 things. When Gaston throws that pick and Bama's going nuts and their sideline's going nuts, they start playing Nuck If You Buck, which you probably know this and other people know this. That is my all-time favorite hype song. I listened to it before every sporting event I ever played in, starting in middle school. And I told Megan, they started playing it last night, and I held my arms out and I said, look, like I was getting chills and goosebumps because of the song and being in there. But the whole stadium is just kind of shell-shocked right now because Nico's out, Gaston throws the pick, Bama's going nuts. They start playing that, and who's out there running out on defense, getting fired up, bobbing around like, let's go, Jacoby Thomas. Yeah. And I'm just like, there he is. He doesn't care what's going on. He's here to play defense. So that was number 1. Number 2, they bring on Tony Vitello on the big screen, and he's kind of getting his own little shout-out. And it's him talking, and he makes a point about it was about an everything school. And so they're kind of showing Tony, and he's talking about volleyball and softball and basketball and football. And it ends with the picture of Tony, Rick, and Heupel. But that's not why I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it up because in his little speech that he gave in there, he goes, being a Vol isn't just, about when you're winning. And he's like, it's when you're down 6 or 7 runs, you're down in this and that. And it's to have that resolve. And as lame and cliche as it sounds, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Like, listen, Reed, this is a street fight. It's going to come down to the wire. Right. I know it's not looking great right now, but just stay the course. And we all stayed the course there. And even when people were bummed in Neyland that we didn't go to try to score a field goal right before half because the first play is a sack or whatever. We don't use a timeout, and they're booing. And I was like, no. Like, hey, I know y'all wanted it, but don't. And then I got up and was clapping. I was like, way to go, defense. We got another half of football to play. And I tweeted it out. We don't appreciate and love this defense enough. And I jokingly said it on you on the phone. I said, we're like the 85 Bears, and that's why you have it there.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly why I put it there, 85 Bears. I mean, whenever you hear about elite defenses, that's the first team that comes up. And this defense is absolutely elite. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. This is an elite defense. With the amount of games we played, we are now 6-1. And what they've been able to do, held every single opponent under 20 points, the highest 19 versus Arkansas. Multiple turnovers every game, multiple sacks every game, stepping up in the biggest moments, finishing games out when they need to, forcing 3 and outs when they get, turnovers on offense. They just step up in the biggest moments, and I absolutely love this defense. And you couldn't ask for anything more when you're starting a freshman quarterback for his first true season. You could not ask for anything more than this kind of a defense.
2 things off that. 2 things off that, and then we can jump into plays. One is that defense was on the field a lot early in that game. A lot. And they've been on the field a lot throughout the season, and that has never seemed to really affect them, but maybe once or twice. I think maybe you mentioned it one time in the Arkansas game. But yesterday I looked up, and we had 3 minutes and something, and Alabama already had 11 or 12 minutes. And that's one of the best things about us not being able to just rotate on the D-line, but linebackers, safeties, corners, the whole thing. And so they stay fresh. And the other thing is, too, I was thinking about this. This season, one game changes things so much. But we have the start of the season. It looks great offensively, blow people out. Then we go and it starts that little trend downwards, even with a win at Oklahoma. We drop it at Arkansas. You win. And it's the crazy thing about this is with Georgia winning last night. So then Georgia has a loss. Bama's got 2. Texas took their first one. Ohio State's got a loss. Oregon will be number 1, but I still don't. Oregon hasn't really been tested to me yet. I mean, they beat Ohio State, but it was at home. I don't know.
Yeah.
I need to see more, but I say all that to say it is crazy that this Tennessee offense didn't even need to do anything spectacular. If they had just hit the easy plays that the coach has drawn up, Tennessee would not only be the number 1 team in the nation, they would be right now by far the best team in the nation just because of how good this defense is. Like I said, I'm not saying that Nico's had to throw for 300 yards, 5 tutties. Dylan Sampson's got to rush for 250 yards. Someone's got to break a million tackles on the edge and house call a hitch. If they just hit 50% of the easy plays that Coach Heupel's designed, this team is number 1 in the nation, and it's not even close.
Yeah. No, I mean, of the plays missed yesterday, like we were talking about it after the game, it's like, bro, we could have easily been in the 30s or 40s in points.
Easy.
Like if you just hit some of those deep balls that we had, if you hit the deep balls versus Arkansas, we win that game. We're one of the only undefeated teams left. Like if we would have won that Arkansas game. So it's like, yeah, we were number 4 at one point. You know what I mean? Like this, yeah, we would have been number 1 team in the country. And dude, I'm telling you what, for the first year of having this 12-team playoff, there are 6 teams that have a shot at like a national championship right now. And it is wild. This like reminds me of like 2007 when there were like 5 or 6 number 1s throughout the season. Like it's been wild.
And don't get it twisted. I'm talking about all the what ifs on offense. Don't get it twisted. This team still has to go into the bye week, do what they need to do, and come out and handle business against Kentucky. And you can't take anyone like the rest of the way. Vanderbilt. I mean, that Vanderbilt game is going to be an absolute dogfight with how they play.
Oh, it's going to be massive.
I mean, you got to come ready to play this year in college football. The margin for error and the teams. I mean, Bama could have beat us yesterday, and they're sitting there saying the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just like I said. That video came on with Tony V, and I'm like, dude, yes. Like I know we want to, hit these deep shots, and it makes us feel better if Tennessee's up 14-7 or 21-7 after the Jamad pick, and if we score there, those what ifs. But it's like, Heupel's telling you it's a 60-minute street fight, and it's like that's how the rest of this college season is going to go, I think, for everybody.
I agree. That's what it has to be. Okay, jumping into defense. So start the game 3 and out. Will Brooks sets the tone, comes off the edge, makes a great tackle in the backfield. And it honestly surprised me that first play that they called wasn't any kind of like quarterback option with it. You know what I mean? It just looked like it was a design run, and we were like, we're coming. No matter what.
Yeah.
We get a false start. How many false starts do we have? Cause delays of game that we cause. Like Neyland makes such a difference against opposing offenses. A fumbled snap by Milroe, which I'm sure had to do with the crowd noise as well. Just like being off with his center. And then his scramble, he, gets outside the pocket, and something that happened all day. And on this play, Joshua Josephs runs down the line of scrimmage and stays with Milroe as he's scrambling. And later on, I see Bailey do the same thing. I see T-Lander do the same thing. I see Arian do the same thing. I see every single one of them took the coaching point and was like, we cannot let this guy run free. Someone has to be pursuing him when he does try and scramble and get outside the pocket and he throws an incomplete pass. And it's 3 and out. And it's just like great, just like setting the tone by the defense.
Yeah, I have the exact same thing. You mentioned Will off the edge, but Bryce and Tyree, Joshua Joseph has great push there. And then, on the very last one, I said nice rush win by JP to flush. And then, like you said, Joshua Joseph Lander and Boo were all good in good position. If he tried to push it upfield, Jamal McCoy was in good coverage. So
yeah, fantastic. Next one, just some great pursuit. I mean, Lander has a good chase down on Milrose. He takes that run on the outside.
Good hard tackle too.
Yeah, great tackle. Arian, great tackle on an out route to prevent like the first down from happening. Like those are kind of plays. Like it happens later. Happens later where like, Boo makes a play, stops the guy in a hitch right before the first down. Like it makes a big difference. Play for another down, right?
Play another down.
Will saving a touchdown on the quarterback sneak. So this dude makes plays. We were literally joking, like texting with another buddy that Will Brooks is the best safety we've had since Eric Berry. Like this guy just makes plays, dude. He is out there making plays.
And it was a joke, so calm down. We were just kidding. But the funny thing is, going into this year, I have blatantly said, like, Will Brooks will always be in position, but I didn't know if he would make game-changing plays. He's made a bunch of them. And not only has he been in really good – like I said, he's not only been in really good position, but he's made damn good plays when he's been there.
Yeah, definitely. You got Milroe throwing a ball behind the wide receiver. Good pursuit by Bailey on this. Bailey had a fantastic game. I kept writing his name down.
Same.
Yeah, I just kept writing it. I was like, damn, look at him.
Yeah. Yes.
Omar, I like it. He tries to time the play clock going to 0. So it's an offsides, but like I kind of like it. It's almost like video games. Like I would do that. You know what I mean? On like games when they're trying to run the clock. I thought Ricky was in good coverage, and in a one-on-one scenario, they throw that dig, and it's a high ball. So it's the only place the wide receiver can get to it. So I thought Ricky was still like in pretty good coverage, and he attempted. Moy had a fantastic play. He's literally getting blocked. While he's getting blocked, makes a tackle inside. And it was big too, because I don't think there was anyone behind who could have made that play. Like he needed to step up and make it because the linebacker wasn't going to be there. We get another false start. And then, ball, Milroe throws another bad ball.
Dude, I love the pressure that he brought. Give me 2 seconds. I should have been writing this.
Yeah, you should have. Jeez.
Well, I'm trying to get my bets in.
We got more important shit to do, man.
I'm trying to win some truck of money, boy.
Trying to get some money on the side, man.
Okay, right here. So I'm going to start writing their numbers so you know who they are. So center, guard tackle, Omar Norman Lott, Arian Carter, Dominic Bailey, T. Lander, Joshua Joseph. And I love it. He drops here. So you got both of your speed guys to take away throwing lanes and to get to put bodies in Jalen Milroe's vision. Plus, if Milroe wants to go right or left, we got 2 of our freaks on the outside waiting on him. He comes here. Aaron Carter takes this guard. Dominic comes here, takes him. That leaves the running back one-on-one with T-Lander. And he made the block, but I promise you he felt T-Lander. And that made Milroe kind of step up and to the side. And I just thought it was a very unique design. And they do it again here in a second, but a slightly different way, which I'll have written out for you.
Yeah, and I love it. I love it too, because it's also what I said last week: pressure up the middle, pressure in his face, pressure where he is looking. That's where we want the pressure, not necessarily on the outside. We want it where he's looking. He makes mistakes like that, and he makes bad throws. Milroe is not a good quarterback.
Yeah, man, he's not.
I hate that people say that he is. I hate that the little Heisman, blah, 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 blah. No, he is a pretty good athlete, and he's not that good of a quarterback. He can't make that good of throws. It's just he is who he is. He's limited.
I don't think he's a pretty good athlete. I think he's a darn good athlete. He did not play well yesterday. But the quarterback position, no, I thought he was pretty darn bad.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to go to the next drive, or is this blitz on this drive too?
No, this is this next one because, for some of the stuff I had here, 2 back-to-back incompletions, but it was still good pressure, good coverage by Boo. The 3rd and 10, that was the blitz I just showed you, but it was a nice play by Milroe and Ryan Williams to go up and catch it when I got hit. The next play on that quarterback draw, once again, I love that play call by Bama. Jackson Moa, you mentioned it, absolutely eats and feasts. Arian Carter did as well. False start. Thanks, Neeland. Pretty good coverage by Ricky. And then the 3rd and 16, which this is the what I'm about to show you now is that play, but we get good pressure and Milroe comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And if Ryan's as good as he is, he probably still catches this because it hits him in the hands even though he's on the ground. But Milroe, I think Greg McElroy says he throws it a little bit behind him, which means Ryan Williams tries to stop and he just loses his footing. But the ball still hit him in the hands even though he's on the ground, which you would think he would catch that.
No, that's true. The ball still hits him in the hands. It's also like you're a 5th-year senior. Like, can you lead your guys a little bit? Because he did it all game. He threw the ball behind his receivers all game and was the reason they lost in the end. And Will Brooks got a pick. So it was just –
all right.
Foreshadowing.
Here we go. Center, guard, tackle, guard, tackle. Now this is just like that. Hey guys, this is just like the formation I was telling you that makes me really nervous that Tim Banks does sometimes. What was so funny about this is you got Joshua Joseph coming off this edge. You got Dominic Bailey pressing here. Omar kind of comes in to show face, which what does that do? What does that do? Pulls the guard. Now, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but pulls the guard. You know what all this does? You know what this does? 3 down linemen. It's a passing down, so you're not worried about a run right here. I know you got backers back here. You're not worried about a run. What does that do, Kyler? That puts James Pierce, our best rush, one of the best rush guys in all of college football. What does that do? What is that? Almost 99% guarantees you 1-on-1. And they had a back. He was this side. He did not step up and block. He goes here. I thought that was genius by Tim Banks to say, we're going to play a little basketball. I'm going to tell the other 4 guys on the court to go stand in the side, and I'm going to let Dalton Connect cook. And that's what he did. And that's what he did with James Pierce. I've never really seen this before, but for him to almost guarantee to get his best player a one-on-one matchup was genius.
Yeah, no, I love that.
And he won his rush on the outside, which made Milroe step up, and it was a bad throw.
Yeah, that's what we want, one-on-ones. We want one-on-one opportunities and our guys to win, which happens in the next drive to end the drive with a nice interception. But as we get into it, again, this is supposed to be a run play. It's one-on-one on the outside, and he tries to throw a jump ball to Ryan Williams. And Jermod is in perfect coverage. You tweeted it out earlier. You wish they'd show more of how he was in coverage. I mean, he's just all over him. There's nothing he can do.
That was the one I got to see in person better than you all unfortunately got to see on TV. Now, I'm on Bama sideline. It's on the other sideline. But I literally watch it. I know where they're going. I'm watching it. It was as perfect as perfect gets. Jamad was in his hip pocket, used the sideline, presses him. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And
then next play, go back to Ryan. He's running like a little post pattern, and Jamad just nails him in the back.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out there. It was a great hit, but I do not want you guys to think that Jamad got beat. It was zone. It was not man.
No, he just found a hole in the zone. And then, those are the kind of things when you are a zone defender, it's like, hey, they're going to try and find the hole, but can you react fast enough and get to him fast enough, maybe cause an incompletion? That could have happened with that hit,
Absolutely.
They get a big run around the edge. I thought Bailey squeezed a little bit too far down, and Arian kind of lost his eyes. He kind of like lost the running back. Brooks made another tackle, touchdown saving, I would say. This one is great.
Oh, wait. Did you just say the Will tackle?
Yeah.
Dude, that tackle on the reverse, it wasn't just a good tackle to get him on the ground. Buddy came in and absolutely sawed his legs off and popped him. Will's fabulous.
It was great. And then a couple plays later.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Jacoby Thomas, our boy, Jacoby Thomas comes flying in to make a tackle, and absolutely fantastic technique and discipline by McMurray out on the edge, attacking the blocker. Okay. He does not come up passive. He does not wishy-wash. Hey, which way am I going? He attacks the blocker and makes Milroe hesitate for just a second, and Jacoby takes advantage of it.
And the thing that was so beautiful about that is they had, Jacoby Thomas was walked up basically playing at linebacker depth because of where they are in the red zone and kind of what the defense was. If you let that guy trigger from linebacker depth compared to safety depth, those two pulling guards never had a chance to get him. And Jalen Milroe was, I don't want to say he outran his blockers because he's got to get out and go, but how fast Jacoby Thomas triggered and made the tackle and the hit, it was beautiful. I mean, I
think if the blocker who ends up getting McMurray, if he is more deliberate and McMurray maybe is a little more passive, then Milroe can keep going to the edge.
Sure.
Kind of like avoid Jacoby. Like he can keep running, but he gets like a little stutter, and it makes a difference. Like when you play your freaking technique on defense, you play your role, it will make a difference.
Agreed. Completely.
It's crazy. Let's see. Arian, he's got his eyes in the backfield while he tries to jam that tight end.
This is a good play. You got to give kudos to Alabama. It's a Texas route. Whether you are locked in on him and your eyes are where they need to be, which I don't necessarily think they weren't because he picked his guy up pretty quickly. It's just a really tough play to make right there.
I just thought he used bad technique when he was trying to jam. Like it made him like kind of overdo it. You know what I mean? Like because he was looking into the backfield and tried to jam, it like kind of made him fall forward, and it was hard for him to redirect to the running back because he wanted to get a piece on the tight end, which I totally get. But it's like if you're not even looking, you're gonna miss. Then you kind of like lean a little bit, and now you're out of position. It's just tiny stuff. I'm not like, hey, Arian, horrible play, but hey, maybe if you are going to jam, like look at him for a second. You're not losing that much. Like
that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I follow you, but it's still a really good play designed by Bama. It's easy throw for Milroe. It's a really easy play, and it kind of works usually if they're in man or zone, because if they're in zone, you just get it to them right before the two backers. So good play. I'm going to tell you what I loved about this was they try to go fast and do something we do, and Norman Lodge is like,
this is a absolutely massive play that no one will talk about. This is one of the biggest plays of the game.
Huge. And they go fast, and Omar just stays there. He waits. He whips his guy. He's there, makes the tackle, and then
he whips two guys. It was supposed to be a double team on Omar. They were supposed to double the guard and tackle, and he beats both of them off the ball, swims across their face, and he's right there to collect the running back. There are no linebackers. There is no one in the middle of our defense at that moment. If Omar does not win that block, it's a touchdown.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I will say that James Pierce was walking his guy down from the outside, and then Jeremiah Thielander did come in quick and triggered and dipped under and ate it, but it was after Omar did what he did.
Yeah. And then the next play, Jeremiah fantastic. I don't care who you are, Mr. Ryan. I'm gonna put my hands on you when you get off the ball. I'm gonna stay with you, and as soon as you start turning your head around, I'm gonna turn my head around. And he makes an incredible play at the ball, one-handed, bringing it down. It was so quick, I didn't even realize it was one-handed because he like literally went up with one and transferred it over to his other hand and started running.
Bro, I cannot describe.
We are spoiled with riches.
I cannot describe to you how amazing that was watching that. And I had the angle, so we're about the same spot that you and I set. Maybe a little bit over because you and I were at this end of the row. Now this week, Meg and I were at this end of the row. And so I'm looking down that way and I have a great angle. And I'm like, well, I know what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to throw it to their boy. And you look and I just kind of catch it. And it looks like great coverage. I'm like, okay, it's going to be a jump ball. And then just Spider-Man's it out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then after he catches it, I'm like, is he going down? He's like, no, this boy's bringing this out. And he takes off, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm sitting there just like, you're just like, go, 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 because I'm sitting there. We know the struggles that we've had on offense, and if he can house call this,
oh my god,
how massive that was going to be. And the funny thing is I have a really bad problem grabbing people and hugging people that I don't even know, because last week at the games, you were on my right, and the nice gentleman who's probably was in his 50s was next to me. Great guy. I enjoyed sitting there and talking with him. But I just grabbed you around your back shoulder or your waist, and I'm holding you. And I grabbed this other gentleman with this arm, and I'm just holding. I'm like, It's like I've never met this guy. He could be like, dude, don't touch me. We can celebrate together, but don't touch me. Well, same thing happens when Jamal McCoy's pick. I grab Megan while watching. I'm grabbing her, and I grab this guy next to me, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, and then it was fine. We all celebrate and stuff, but
everybody's on the same page. Everybody's on the same page here.
I loved watching it on TV though, and you get to see how Ryan Williams tried to pause, do his little stutter step, and then hit it. And Jermon's literally like, here, waiting. If you're not moving, I'm not going to move. He moves with him, gets his eyes back in, makes a play on the ball. Elite coverage, bro. Elite coverage.
Elite. I think later on when they eventually get a touchdown, they throw it on Ricky. It's like, Ricky, you're there. You just turn your head around.
He had good coverage. He had good coverage.
You know what I mean? You're in good coverage. Just turn your head around. He ain't going nowhere. You know where he's at. Turn around. You can get to that ball.
Find the ball. That's all you have to do. But because I thought Ricky was in good position there. Last thing on the pick, the effort. First, Jacoby Thomas is right there. He realizes the pick. He gets a nice hit on Ryan Williams in the end zone. And then Bryson Eason and Jason Jenkins and Aaron Carter were all flying to try to pick up blocks. Awesome to see.
Awesome. Okay, next drive. This is the eventual touchdown on Ricky. Let's see.
I got to start. Hold on. Just for the first play, it's Jalen McMurray, and they do a little hitch to Ryan Williams. He is right on it, and he slams his ass for the tackle. And it's like, yeah, Reed, why are you bringing up a 5-yard hitch? Well, because that's Ryan Williams. And instead of him putting an okey doke on one of our guys, which was happening on the Florida game or the Arkansas game or whatever, he's right there. And he's like, hey, you might catch it, but your ass is paying for it. And you're not getting another yard.
Yeah. It's how frustrated at this point do you think Ryan Williams is?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's had a ball thrown behind him where he had to fall on the ground. He couldn't catch it. He's had a ball thrown out of bounds when he was one-on-one coverage. He's had a ball thrown to him where it got picked off and he's in one-on-one coverage.
Yep.
He has gotten hit in the back on the one catch that he does have. Then he gets another hitch and the guy slings him to the ground. Ryan's guess what? He's 17. Now your maturity is here. How are you going to react? You know what I mean? He is having a hell of a day. People are all over him. This defense is all over him.
Agreed completely there. I just like it because this is our backup / rotational corner, and he's playing it just as well as our starters.
Yeah. Let's see. They get a good bounce on a run play. I thought Caleb just needed to stay outside, keep contained.
Yeah.
This penalty, I wanted to at least bring this up. The defense causing the offensive line to move is the biggest bullshit I've ever seen in my life. I have no idea what the frick this penalty is. If a defensive lineman flinches, you are not allowed to jump off sides as an offensive lineman. I'm an offensive lineman. Obviously I want it more in my favor, but this is crap. I have no idea where this came from. This has never been a penalty ever if a defensive lineman flinches but does not come into the neutral zone, that is on the offensive lineman. That is like we got one on offense. They gave us one, but this should not be a penalty. I have no idea where this came from. I have no idea if this is a new thing this year or what it is. But if a defensive lineman doesn't move out of his position, he does not get into the neutral zone, and he goes like this and just like jolts, that is not on him. Defensive linemen are allowed to move around.
Yeah, I didn't really. Obviously, I was in the stadium, so I didn't really see or notice that. That's BS, and I'll just take this point to be like, some of those calls, brutal. We're going to talk about one when we talk about the PI they called on Ricky. I hate that. I hated that call. The one that we'll talk about on offense where we ran the the speed option and they called that. Like, there were some calls that I was not pumped with, that I felt like it was some of the Bama calls that they just have always gotten. And what I mean by Bama calls, it's like, for example, if Malachi Moore or from years past of when you played like a Minka Fitzpatrick or one of their really, really well-known DBs is in that coverage and does what Boo Carter did, I don't think there's a PI. But since it's a younger guy and whatever, then it's, they throw it, and meaning just like it just is the benefit of the doubt. But some of the refs or some of in the spot that they gave them, which was right in front of us, was brutal. I mean, Tennessee overcame some pretty unfortunate calls.
Mm-hmm. So let's see. Ricky's in good coverage on a one-on-one. They try and throw another back shoulder. He's there for it. Milrow gives the ball on a little read option. It's a tackle for loss. I just absolutely love just defense just swarming around it. This is the pass interference they call on Boo.
I didn't know it was this quick. I thought that was just great coverage because Boo, his guy's in motion. He stays with us the whole time. I think it's great veteran coverage. He gets a little bit of a tug, and I don't think that should really be called because it's while they're running. I don't know if the ball's in the air yet, but he's got his hand, and he did it down low. It's kind of you don't see it in person. I know they showed it again on TV, but I guess that was just a really good eye by the ref. But it's a nice little veteran move, and you almost use that to slingshot yourself in front to bat it away. Listen, I think if that's a damn NFL playoff game, they're not calling that because they're letting the boys play. I like that coverage. I would personally not get mad at Boo if I'm in the coaching room. I would say, you know what, Boo, I understand you want to fill him, but you're in really good coverage anyway, kid. Just like try not to. But you can't really beat him up.
I mean, it's tough.
It is
in those spots. Milrow, I think this was Milrow. No. This was a running back. Yeah. Ricky came up on the outside and he misses this, but he forces it back in, which was great because everybody else was able to make the tackle. So it's just like, play your technique. Yeah, hey, you might miss, but your teammates are there. Arian comes on the blitz unblocked, and Milrow escapes, runs away from him, and makes a good play. This is the fear of Milrow, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Him escaping the pocket and being able to do this. So makes the first down. Let's see. Boo gets blocked on this one, and T-Lander is there to try and get to the tackle, but just doesn't get there in time. They get a first down. I think there's a little bit of speed limitations there when you're going against that guy from Bama by T-Lander. And then that sets up, them near the goal line. They throw that jump ball over to Ryan on Ricky. So, and we talked about that, just getting your head around.
Yep.
That's all he needs. So
nice drive by them. That's all I will say.
Yes, nice drive by them. The next two drives are so big by this defense because we throw an interception on offense, Gaston Moore throws one. What does the defense do? 3 and out. Okay. O-line holding on Bailey and T-Lander in the same play. They ended up calling it against Bailey, but the freaking guard tackled T-Lander on the pass pro. So they back him up. Then they get a delay of game, kneeling effect. And then Bailey and James Pierce time up the snap based off the play clock, and they are in his face immediately, all over him. And it's just like this defense, just the way that they're playing and the way they attack situations, they're like, we've been here before. We've been here before. Offense is struggling right now. We got your back.
They truly just go out and play ball. That's what they do. They just show up, play ball. They don't let the game affect them, good or bad. I just love seeing Dominic Bailey bully that guy, which resulted in the holding. Mm-hmm. And then the only other thing I have is Jermon McCoy with a vet move on the punt, acting like he's going to catch it, letting it hit behind him, and that gives us good field position.
Yeah, that was good. Then next, we end up throwing a pick. Nico throws a pick later. It's another 3 and out from our defense. So it's like 2 bad things happening on offense. Defense has their back. 3 and out. I thought the play by Christian Harrison to close out on that out route.
Yeah.
Creating a 3rd and 2. Like I said earlier, you live to play another down, right? Creating the 3rd and 2, like his speed to get there. And then Bailey, again, calling out his name. And Joshua Joseph's free rush. And then Jermod just stays on his man the entire time. They get a free rush. They force Milroe out of the pocket. He's throwing on the run. Jermod is there to bat that ball away. And it's just like, here we go, off the field.
Awesome play. Because, and I was very impressed pretty much the whole day. Whether we were in zone and definitely in man, like if he got out, there were guys pretty much locked on. I mean, they were pretty much just hip pocket.
Yep. All right, next drive. This is the last one before half for the defense. Let's see. They hit tight end on a play action out of the backfield. I thought Aaron could have done a little bit better with his eyes on that. Just watching him come across. JP, I mean, this is where you make your money. And we said we think he was probably going to step up this game because he's like, I know this is a big one. He got 2 sacks on the day, and this is one of them. Just great play by him. I mean, just being able to read, see what's going on, and then actually make the tackle. And dude, when they I don't think people realize how big James Pierce is. Like, he is a big dude. Yeah. Like after that play, and they zoomed out and they were kind of like moving around the thing, and him standing next to the other like Alabama O lineman. I'm like, that dude is big, dude.
He's long, big boy, long.
They complete this dig across the middle. They give him the first down, but a great play by Will coming up again and making a hit right when the guy gets the ball. They called it out on TV. They were like, he is a half second late. Like if he was a half second earlier, he might have even got to that ball, knocked it out, whatever. But I mean,
I sure hope that he can change that and get to the ball earlier.
Sure hope so. Another false start, kneeling effect. Love it. Tyree absolutely just dips the tackle's block on the outside. He's on the edge. Just dips right around him, comes in, boom, hits that running back in the backfield, tackle for loss. This is a fantastic, just like man play by him being like, no, you can't block me.
Was the James Pierce sack that you just talked about, is that the one where he comes off the edge but works through the two different guys?
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's just the one guy. Yeah. Okay. I have it here.
Yeah.
Insanely stupid by Alabama to try to block him with a tight end.
Yeah, true.
I mean, that's just really, really dumb. And then he just is really good. And it's really tough when you got an edge rusher like that that is that athletic, because Jalen Milroe's not used to seeing defensive linemen, okay, I can get around this guy and make something. It's like one-on-one open field tackle, and JP makes it perfect.
Yeah. So Tyree with a little tackle for loss. Then they throw a little hitch. Boo makes the tackle right away. And I called this out because it forces a 4th and 1. It was a great tackle by hit, like great to be there on the man and not let him break that tackle. Forces the 4th and 1. They did not get that. on the quarterback sneak. We already mentioned it. They gave it.
They did a really good job on their QB sneaks, doing that little thing where they kind of let him get out.
Yeah.
But I bring that up to say, Will saved the touchdown on the first one, but this is the one that was right in front of us. And I mean, we've been over it before. Kyler and I try to call it as we see it and not be home cooking, but this one was brutal. Like it was brutal.
Yeah. So defense just steps up. I think they run the ball. Then Bailey, an absolutely just great move on the outside, chops hands down, rips around that tackle, and hits Milrow right when he's throwing the ball. It's just like I'm calling his name out every drive. I got to play by Bailey, a play by Bailey, a play by Bailey. Like he's just.
Hey, that ball fluttered in the air for a minute too, and it was right in front of us, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, get it!
Get it, please!" And then Omar and Bailey inside fighting, just keep going. Second effort, and getting pressure on Milrow as he's trying to run, and it's an incomplete pass.
I think the only thing so far on defense that I haven't got to mention. Never mind. Go ahead.
So then they missed the field goal. So that was the last drive. Huge last drive before the half. So going into halftime at 7-0. Let's see. First drive after the half. We got the ball first. So this is taking the second drive after the half. Let's see. They got a couple run plays in a row where, this is a drive they start running the ball more. And they're just getting a hat on a hat. So they got a guy on a guy. They run a little inside zone. They get good yardage. They run a little toss with the pullers. They got a hat on a hat on everybody. They get good yardage. I'm just very impressed by our DBs making tackles when they have to. This was
the one in the stadium that from the perspective in there, for me, I'm sitting there. I'm like, all right, I see what Bama's doing. They're going to say, F it. We're going to test their manhood, let our offensive line come off, pound. We'll quarterback run. We'll running back run. And I thought they moved it well. And they had started, what were they at here? Like starting just regular, like 20-yard line, 25-yard line.
Yeah.
And so I think they get down to almost about in front of Megan and I. And, so they've moved it well. And I just was like, it's okay, Reed. They're moving it well. And I kept telling myself there's still a lot of field to go.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time that I got that fired up about running is towards the end of the game when we're on offense. And I think it's when we're up 21-17. Or no. We are down. It's the same drive where we throw it to Chris Brazel, but Tennessee just started saying, you know what? Right now is when we're going to kind of impose our will offensively. And I thought about you, and Megan started cracking up because we had like 3 good run plays in a row. And I just popped up out, or I was staying. I think I was standing, and I was like, and like the crowd's not that loud because we're on offense. I was like, come on, let's go. I said, impose your will, baby. Keep hitting them in the mouth. And everyone else there is always talking throw. I'm like, let's fucking go. I was like, 5 yards a pop, 6 yards a pop. Keep running it. Like, and that's what I had felt Bama was doing here to us. But it's like our defense continues to bow up. Like, dude. I'm just to this point now where it's like I don't even care if we give up a big play on defense because it's like I'm not gonna like you got to score like the other teams you have to score before I'm like okay bummer because if it's on the inch line I still don't care.
No, I mean we forced a fumble last game on the inch line, so it's like there's still another play. So they're running the ball well. I thought there were some misses by guys like Arian. I thought he missed a tackle that he could have had. But they get closer and closer, and then they run again. They have 2 pullers coming around, and JP attacks one of those pullers with his hands, not like wrong shoulder or ducking into it or ducking his head. He literally, that puller comes around, and he's standing there, and it's for him, right? The puller is blocking JP, and he literally just extends his arms out, holds that blocker there, and then dives in on the runner and is able to make that tackle on Milroe before he gets the first down. And we're sitting there in 3rd and 5. And what's the most dangerous thing on the field is Jalen Milroe running a quarterback draw.
Yes.
And Turrentine comes from 15 yards away and makes an open field tackle on maybe one of the best athletes on the field.
Yes.
And
one
it's
one of the best athletes in college football.
Talk about a turnaround, right? What we're like last game, we're ripping him, right? All the things he was doing wrong, all the things that he had messed up on. And in this game, he had a few really good tackles at big times. That is a huge play for him and his confidence and everything else moving forward.
Agreed. I agreed.
Forcing the punt. Let's see. Next drive starts with a pass interference call on Jamad, which it kind of was. Hobbs and Caleb Perry on the pressure. They're just all over Milroe, and this is one of those things where I don't think Milroe's a good quarterback. Is like he does like the play action, the handoff, and he does the handoff, and he's right-handed, right? Throws with his right hand. He does the handoff, and he's sitting there like this with his right shoulder upfield. And I'm like,
turning it.
Yeah, instead of like doing the handoff and putting your left shoulder upfield, like get ready for a pass. It's like his mechanics are horrible for a quarterback. So it's just bad. We get another
that's also like that's also just like not doing the little things. You ever think that Peyton Manning or Tom Brady or Drew Brees is ever going to do a play action and not ride it all the way out? No.
Yeah, no. Little defense causing offense to jump again. The little wide receiver bubble out to the side. Boo goes inside the block, which I didn't like. But he recovers and ends up making a tackle, which is great. So it's like, hey, don't like the first part, love the second effort.
That second, you agreed. I don't. You got to be a little bit better. I'm actually got this play pulled up right now. And I want to say this because you didn't mention it. The play before, the slant that they completed, Jermon McCoy, that's about the best thing that you're going to get on him. I mean, you got one of the best wide receivers in all of college football, him and Travis Hunter. He steps, he stabs. Jalen doesn't really get lost. He still gets a hand on him. He gets right inside of him. A slant, you and I have talked about it 100 times on here. It is so hard to defend. The ball placement is good. And he's, once again, though, it's complete, and he tackles him immediately. So instead of a slant that could go for 50 yards to the house, no. I just wanted to shout that out. I know it was a completed pass on him, but it's like, hey, you got the completed pass, that's it. Yeah. And about this Boo play, they throw it out there. Boo comes up. Yeah, I think it's just his natural instinct there. Plus the guy kind of takes a step inside. Boo goes inside, but the effort to sprint his butt off and get down there and lay an absolute pop that's winning football. Very much winning football.
Definitely. I love effort. Great play by Jermad here. Quarterback run. Fullback is literally leading outside. Fullback coming to Jermad, and he keeps contained and takes out the blocker and makes Milroe cut back inside, and it's a tackle right at the line of scrimmage. And it's like, that again, winning football. That is Jermad going, I trust the rest of my teammates. I'm just going to do my job.
Yep.
Let's see. They find a soft spot in the zone for first down to a little tight end. I think that might have been a little like wheel. He kind of ran out. Yeah. A wheel and hook. A great play by Joshua Josephs on this like attempted reverse. He comes into the backfield.
Dude.
His eyes are on the quarterback, and then
the entire time.
And then he puts his hands on the reverse guy. Like his eyes aren't even where his hands are. He is playing both. He is literally playing both at the same time. It's incredible.
Sick. Just sick, bro. Absolutely
sick
I
play.
I got to watch that one I kind of saw that one develop in person, and golly, man, it was nasty.
Yeah. And then you got 2 plays in a row by Ricky. So the first one, it could have been a PI. He like once they showed it again, he's holding a little bit, and then they go right back and try him again. He gets beat off the line. And this is the kind of move that I like, that's very sneaky, that's technically probably a penalty, but he just like touches his hips just a little bit and just gets a little like that and just gets a little bit of momentum, stops him just a little bit, and now he's in front. And now he's there to be able to make a play on the ball.
It's an absolute vet move.
Yeah, because there's no jersey, there's no like extension of the jersey that you see. There's none of that stuff. Play with dude, you can control a guy so much by their center of gravity and where their hips are.
Yeah, we just talked about it last week when you were talking about Lance Hurd having to make the down block, and then I found the video of you doing it against Bama, and it can make all the difference in the world.
Yeah. So great. They end up getting the field goal after that. So making it 10-7. Let's see. Next drive, run to the outside. Jermod gets called for the face mask, so it moves him up a bunch. This is a dual face mask.
Yeah, everyone was. We didn't see that in the stadium, but everyone was saying that. Who had the face mask for Bama?
The guy running the ball.
Oh, okay.
He was literally like this. He was literally like this on Jermod's face mask and pushing him into the dirt. And Jermod got one finger on that guy's face mask. And they called it on Jermod.
Yeah, everyone was I think people were texting. Multiple people, like one group text was texting about it, which was someone watching on TV. Someone else said it. And then maybe some people in the stand started saying it. And I don't know if they saw a replay or something that I didn't. But yeah, it
was wild. I really thought, I was like, oh, they're going to call it on the Alabama guy.
They never, ever called on the offensive guy.
JP is able to just road grade his dude and gets right in Miller's face, and he still gets rid of it. Like, that's a pretty incredible play by him.
It was. I looked at the guy next to me and was like,
what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'm just happy it wasn't one of those where you go in, you grab them, and you think the whistle's going to blow, so you let them go and then they take off, where you'll see in the NFL every once in a while.
Yeah. They run a little power play. Guy comes around on the block, and T-Lander's there in the hole to make the tackle, and he misses on the running back. But Charles, come from safety position, makes a great open field tackle. So they get a first down, but it's like the DB stepping up and making big tackles again. Let's see. Ricky's in press man, and doesn't use his hands off the line. I wanted him to punch, maybe just like a little bit. Just use your hands and if it's not even a punch, it's a guide for you, so you know where that guy's going. And just he gets kind of beat on that dig route and completed pass. So there's just coaching points there,
Yeah, press coverage. I don't think that you always have to get hands. If I'm not mistaken, you just said, hey, even if you don't get a punch, you can still use them to field. Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, which I agree there. But sometimes these dudes got such elite feet that their hands get in their way. Matter of fact, very quick story, but there was a guy at Memphis. He was a freshman when I was there, 3-star guy. He won the state championship 100-meter in the state of Louisiana. Like one of the fastest humans I've ever seen. And I've brought him up on this pod a couple times because I saw him get beat deep by guys that were much slower than him all the time. And one of his things was he would try to press and hit, and he would just miss guys at the line and then get run by, or he had bad eyes. But it's like, dude, if you're one of the fastest guys and have good hips and feet, like you sometimes don't have to touch.
True.
So
true. If you can catch up. And then right after that play, they score a touchdown on the backside. Eason literally gets tackled. He literally gets tackled by the offensive lineman, and they do not call holding.
Oh, what play? Because I didn't get to see it in the stadium.
It's the touchdown.
On the run? Okay. I got
run.
He cuts it
to the backside, the running back does. And Eason is coming, fights across the tackle's face.
He's got him around the neck.
He tackles him to the ground. And the guys are backside to be there. Turrentine is the safety valve.
Jumps outside.
He jumps outside thinking Milroe's going to keep it.
Yeah.
And it's wide open in the middle.
Yeah.
And that right there, because James Pierce is out there, and I think Christian Charles was out there on the edge. As Turrentine, you need to trust your guys that they have quarterback. Okay? In man on the backside, and James Pierce has the quarterback.
You know
what I mean? Like, hey, I trust you to be there to take the quarterback if he's there. I'm going to hang here in the middle because there's no linebackers backside.
He's got to keep his eyes on the right spot. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, trust your guys by keeping your eyes in the right spot. Yeah, I couldn't see this. That is awful. Because, you played offensive line. I guess people are going to consider that will try to consider that a pancake. But if he just straight wraps him around the neck and tackles him, and there's a ref right there. But I'm telling you, man, that's just some of that Alabama home cooking because, their offensive line's always so big and physical and good. They got away with crap like that when Saban was there.
Yeah. Okay, now this is the last 4 drives to finish the game. 3 and out, 4 and out, interception. This is just incredible defense. This is when you needed it in the fourth quarter. And guys stepping up. So first 3 and out. Turrentine unblocked, nice open field tackle. It's just him and the guy coming. They're close in their end zone. It's him and the guy. So he makes a good open field tackle. Moy overtook the guard trying to pull. He was literally over the guard. He's lined up over the guard who's pulling to the other side, and he gets off the ball so fast that he prevents that guy from going anywhere. The guy has to stop and turn back. That causes Milroe to also turn back to the backside because his puller's not going front side anymore. He doesn't have anybody to pull for him. And then he makes the tackle on Milroe. Moy does. Like, such an impressive play by one dude. He made that play.
Yeah.
And then JP pressure around the edge.
Just the 3rd and 6?
This is the 3rd and 6. Yeah. JP pressure around the edge, and then Arian with the pursuit just stays, doesn't let him, scramble free. And then we're able to, because JP almost gets a safety here. Yeah. And then it's an incomplete pass down the field, and it's a 3 and out.
So let me a couple things. These possessions in the stadium where they had the incomplete, or what would you say it was? What were the last 3 or 4 possessions? What did you read on?
So the last 4 possessions for defense: 3 and out, 3 and out.
Yeah,
4 and out, and then interception by Will.
Yeah, all of those, the crowd was unbelievable, unfreaking believable because it's like, oh my gosh, like our offense is starting to pick it up a little bit. Now people are starting to get it like, oh, we're going to punt it. We're going to let our defense eat.
We have the lead.
They got to go the whole distance, all that stuff. On this play in the stadium, I was like, oh my gosh.
Safety.
He really might hold this thing too long and not get out of the pocket and let it collapse. Then he gets out. So then it goes from like, oh my, because I see JP beat him, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, collapse the pocket. Well, then when you see him out of the pocket, then you immediately go to, oh no, like this is where you don't want to be. And Kyler, when he let this thing go, I just had visions of Ryan Williams at Georgia game. And he chucks it, and it was there to be completed. Jamon McCoy was in good coverage, meaning like the tackle's going to be made. But if he could get enough on this ball, it's going to get completed. Yeah. And then when that ball hit the dirt, I looked at Meg. I was like, oh, my gosh. I was like, I wasn't breathing, man. And like –
yeah, but you hold your breath. But that is the difference when Arian's pursuing him down the line of scrimmage.
Right, agreed.
Right, where Milroe doesn't have time to stop, set up, throw. someone's there.
And I want to give a shout out, like you said, Arian triggers so fast. It's great having a speedy athlete like that compared to what we've had last year. But some of the other guys, like absolutely blanketed. Like I just paused it here. The tight end and receiver that's coming across the middle of the field, which would be the easier, shorter throw, absolutely hit pocket. So that's why he just chucks it deep. And man, just all great all around defense on a 3rd and 6, man. Awesome. Awesome.
Incredible. Next drive. First play, Amari fights across the down block and makes a tackle right at the line of scrimmage. Like just a fantastic play by him. Milroe misses wide open. He has time in the pocket. There is no pressure. This guy is wide open going across the middle of the field in between 2 zones, and he misses him. Just absolutely misses him. And this is just like, this is who you put all your stock in, this guy.
Yeah.
And then JP jumps the snap and a sack.
Yeah.
And this is like, hey, your best player stepped up in the biggest moments. Like, this is what he did.
Yeah. I was in there and I saw, and I just thought about the boogeyman, Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
I love it. And the funny thing is they were, I think it was Omar or Bryson Easton was like trying to get him to go celebrate more. He was like, go. And so finally it was like a delayed celebration and James Spears did the kick the door in. It was cool.
Yeah. Next drive, this is a 4-and-out. Milroe misses on an out route. He's got time. He literally just misses the throw. Moy causes pressure in his face. He dumps it off, and Thielander. I have Thielander misses. Oh, yes. This is the one. Pressure up the middle in his face. He's dropping back. He throws a little dump off to the running back. The running back is 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and Thielander comes up in open field, and he just makes him miss completely. Like, Thielander just gets stopped in his tracks, and then he gains, 5 yards trying to go down the sideline.
It's a really, really tough spot to be in.
It's tough, dude. Hey, that right there is all those, unfair drills that they put these guys in, shorts and shirts where the wide receiver, guy has the ball and the other defender comes up and it's like a 15-yard gap. And you're like, this doesn't happen again. This is the only time this happens in a game. And it sucks. He's got there's nobody inside. There's nobody outside. He's 10 yards inside the out of bounds. So it's not even like he can use out of bounds as help. And he's just in no man's land. He could go either way on me.
So I've been in that position way more times than I would have liked. But I'll say this about being in there. It looked like he got way upfield and it was about to be like a 4th and 1 or like a 3rd and 1. No, a 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 2. And then there's a dead ball, timeout or whatever. And then we don't even notice it until the teams have still stood. Their teams are not there, but you start seeing them walk the chains back. And then you see on the big board that it goes from 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 7. And I was like, oh my gosh, because the amount of relief from a 3rd and 1 to 3rd and 7 is monumental. So it was wild because we couldn't see that he stepped out.
In the stands. Yeah. Joshua Josephs on a loop causes pressure right in his face, and the ball is behind the receiver again. So just great move by Joshua, just being right there, kind of putting his hands up. And then, it's 3rd and 16 or something after a penalty, and they dump it off to the running back. We keep contained, make the tackle, force the punt. And then the next time the defense is out there, it's a Will Brooks interception on the first play.
Wild that they dumped it off when they needed all that yards.
I guess they were like, hey, we're gonna stop them and play again.
I guess so. Yeah.
And try and win it the next time. And then, Will Brooks, it's a ball behind his receiver. Milroe has time in the pocket. He throws a bad ball, and Will just takes advantage.
Being right there for that, because you're still sitting there, and I'll try to be quick here so we can get to offense. But it was wild because there were guys, like 2 guys, probably mid to late 20s, that lit cigars.
You can't be doing that. You
And
cannot be doing that.
I was furious because I smelt it before I saw it. And I was like, who the is lighting cigars? And I look around and I see them. And everyone else is like, what are you doing? Stop. Like, you're so stupid. Like, what a bunch of idiots. Thank goodness they had a guy next to him, I think, that was with them that was like, yo, like, stop. Like, put that out. Like you can't be doing that. And these dudes were like, they probably been drinking and they were like trying to be like, yeah, like whatever. I was like, bro, I don't like, if we had lost the game, I probably would have fought both of them.
They would have got fought. You wouldn't have had to. Somebody would have. Like,
I mean,
everybody in that section was probably like, are you freaking kidding me right now?
Dude, I was pissed. And of course, you started hearing the people like, what a bunch of idiots. They must not understand being a Tennessee fan because there's still plenty of time. And I know you feel better after we stop them and get the field goal because we're up 7. But like, hey, what if they throw one and someone falls and Ryan Williams catches it? What if they score and they go for 2? What if we have to go to overtime? Like, and Megan's like, because she looked at me at one point after we kicked the field goal, and she's like, how are you feeling? I said, I'll feel good when it's over. Like, I've been to way too many of these things, and you just can't, you got to end it. And so that was what was so awesome. The story behind Will Brooks, which I'm not going to repeat it because everyone knows it, but the fact that we had a nail in the coffin, that it didn't come down to one last chuck up or whatever, and that he picked it, he got to have his moment, and then we got to end it with offense doing that and get the celebration starting was unbelievable. And it is so poetic and so awesome for Will. And the other thing is that I'll say this about the rushing the field, because I know we got to talk offense, but when that game ended, it didn't feel like people were going to rush the field. It really didn't. 2022.
I didn't think they would.
I didn't either. I didn't either. But in 2022, when it happened, it was just a wave. This was very much the players ran off. I told you on the phone it was hilarious because a lot of our players – they're on this sideline, Bama's on this sideline, and Bama, when the game was over, they started trying to sprint to that tunnel. Well, our guys, some of them ran that way to go act like they're cheering in the student section, but they made sure to let Bama know what's up as they ran through them, which I love to see. 2 of the people I saw for sure was Jackson Moa and Dalvin Hobbs, which I would have been right there with them, which was hilarious. By the way, Jackson Moa, I forgot to mention, when we came out of Jackson Moa and Jacoby Thomas, when we came out of the tee to start the game, they made sure to both stop and look at the Bama direction and was like letting them know, like, hey, what's up? And so that was hilarious. But then it was like our team's just celebrating. And then all of a sudden, it's the recruits that are starting to jump, literally recruits. And then when they start coming on, then the students are like, okay. Well, then the students, and like you get the PA guy announcer that's like, please stay off the playing field. Please stay off the playing field. It was a very slow trickle of rushing the field. Then the cops like go out there like they're going to try to do something. They grab like – the funny thing is the cop violently grabs 1 or 2 students and then just like aggressively like grabs them and shakes them and then lets them go. And it's like because he knows like he can't – there's nothing you can do.
No.
And so it was funny because it was a very delayed reaction. And I'm sitting there, and I'd love your opinion on this and comments, opinions. But the thing about it is, like, I was like, man, don't rush the field against them. Like, I don't want Bama fans to be like, oh, you guys always rush the field against us. And then I thought, you know what? Who cares? Who cares? Like, I don't care what they say. We won the game. If it very much felt like, and I actually heard a couple people say this behind me, I wasn't here in 2022. I got to get to that field. And so it was like after the slow matriculation and people were realizing like, hey, we can go down there. And then everyone was like, just let them go. Then you started hearing people like, and so I know it wasn't the same ending, but these people, like the recruits that saw all that on social media and TV, all the other UT fans that were there in 2022 but didn't get on the field or weren't able to make it to the game, like I know you can't recreate something, but this was still a big win. It was still special. It still came down the wire. So, like, for me, I'm like, if you want to go, go. I didn't. I went in 2022. I didn't need to do it again this time, but I'm all for if they want to do it, go enjoy it, have a good time. Like, I don't care, man. Like,
I kind of agree with you. It felt more like it was happening because it happened in 22.
It's exactly right.
Like it was like did a new tradition start of like storming the field when we beat Bama? Like, is that going to just be a thing now? Because it was just like deja vu. And like seeing Heupel on the field, people all around him, seeing him with the cigar in the mouth, seeing everybody smoking out in the field. Like, it was like, we're seeing this all again. Like, is this literally just happening because it happened in 22? Which it sounds like there was a good amount of people that did it because it happened in 22 and they didn't get to.
I think too, just subconsciously people saw that and watched it and knew how incredible a moment that was. And then it's like the game ends and they're just like, this is my chance to do it. Or like, yeah, like this is just what we do. And they just wanted to do it. And they, like I said, recruits were the ones that were jumping first from that little recruiting section. It was wild. And then when the students see that and get involved, it just started becoming a landslide. So it was like, dude, have a great time, go enjoy it. I was just trying to get out of there and go get Gavino's pizzas because your boy was exhausted.
Okay, let's jump into offense. So first half, no points. This is missed opportunities. So I put in opportunity offense because it was like eventually we started taking advantage of those opportunities. Fumble on our first drive. So we're moving the ball. So first play, ball is behind Baru on the slant. And you're like, damn it, dude. Like, we're missing it. But then hits Baru in stride 2 plays later in between zones on a deeper slant. So it's like, this is why it's so like confusing as to why Nico misses some of these balls, because he has such good throws at different times. And you're like, how do you miss one but make another? Why is there this back and forth? But hits Baru in stride in between the zones on the slant. This is, a quarterback counter read, which I absolutely love. So it's set up for quarterback counter, but it's a read so he can give it to Dylan on a sweep. And he gives it to him. And then Kitzelman stops blocking all of a sudden. I don't know what was going on, how he got confused.
No, I'll tell you.
And then Dylan, ends up fumbling on that play. And it kind of turns it,
So, yeah, being in there, you're like, damn it, dude, 2 weeks in a row, we can score on our first drive. It changes the whole dynamic of the game. Dylan has never fumbled or lost a fumble in his career, which is incredible. The Miles thing looks weird, but Miles is going out to block. He doesn't know if Nico kept it or gave it. And that play was so awesome to see on TV because I didn't get to appreciate it in the stands. So when I was doing the rewatch, I was like, oh my gosh, that is beautiful. He pulls the 2 guards. If Nico wants to keep it, he can. If not, it is the most wide open running lanes for Dylan. Mm-hmm. And the thing that Miles is up 15 yards and the safety has not made a move. So Miles doesn't want to turn around and look and see what's happening. So he's kind of trying to figure out what's going on. And he's almost a stock block.
The safety stops.
The safety stops. So it's Miles is okay, if you're going to stop, I'll stop. I don't know what the hell's going on behind me. And I'll say this, Dylan trucks Buddy, which was awesome, and he bounces and keeps going. But Malachi Moore, that was a hell of a play to come through because Dylan goes, truck sticks, and as he's rotating around to continue running, Malachi Moore comes in and just rips it. I just thought it was a hell of a play. Yeah. Now, in the stadium, it was very much delayed because we see the truck and we don't necessarily know it's a truck. We think he's getting tackled and then the ball's down and we're like, oh no, we had no idea that it was a clear and obvious fumble. Yeah. We can't see it and then they don't show the replay. So I'm like, well, maybe they're not showing the replay because that means it was pretty obvious. You would think they would show the replay if we're going to let Heupel challenge it or whatever. But anyways, great. I love the play design and it was just a good play by Malachi.
And we ran that play later on in the game multiple times and it worked well. Next drive is a 3-and-out. Squirrel goes with one hand after the ball. And this is one of those things where the one hand he uses is his good arm. The one he doesn't is the shoulder that's been bothering him. And if you cannot make plays because of your injury, it's selfish in a way. Like you going out there and being like, I want to do it for my team. You're letting your team down because of your injury. You can't go out there, dude. If you cannot go up with two hands, you cannot extend your arm over because it hurts your shoulder so much. Don't go out there.
Yeah.
Put Nimrod in. Put Caleb Webb in. Like, I love your Squirrel, but dude.
You said it. We love Squirrel. The fan bases love Squirrel. Squirrel's done a lot of really good things for the University of Tennessee since he's been here. Had some really big time catches in games and has been really good. But this year, he's not been good. They've shown it. He's tied for the most drops. I didn't know this until I saw it on TV. He's tied for the most drops in the entire SEC with 8 drops. That is an awesome play design by Heupel. He just runs a nice little 3-seam, 3 verts. Stem it. It's a great, great ball by Nico. It's a great pass protection. It's 10 guys doing their job, and the 11th is not. And I can promise you that every other receiver on that team probably makes that catch because either their shoulder's not bothering them and they just go with 2 hands, and they're going to get yak after the yards too, and we're backed up. And it's a huge play that has to be made. And like I got frustrated with Squirrel with not catching punts, and now this bull crap, and it's like, dude, you can't play him if he's not making plays because that kills your offense. And it really infuriated me then when I saw it, and it really still frustrates me now.
Yeah, I know. If you're hurt, you gotta step off. You just have to. Like it sucks. Yeah, but you're not 100% Squirrel.
Let me say this too. He's a good receiver. He's not elite at all. He's not. And that's no offense to anyone. Like, he could become elite. He's good. He's not elite. So it's not like Ryan Williams is out there playing with one shoulder. It's not like Travis Hunter's out there playing with one shoulder. It's a little bit different.
Yeah. I mean, he's 60, 70% of himself.
Yeah. But I'm saying those guys 60 or 70% is much better than Squirrel 60 or 70% was my point.
Nico tries to shot downfield to Brazel on this drive on 3rd and misses him, overshot. And we saw that a good amount yesterday, just overshooting guys. But we also saw some damn bullets and damn good ball placement out of them too. So it's odd. Let's see. Next drive, they call a holding on Campbell. Dude, I cannot believe they called this. I know that John Campbell has held a lot during this season, and there are other plays in the game where it would have been a good time to call a holding on him. This was not one of them. I was shocked when I rewatched it after watching it live, didn't really see it. They didn't show the replay. Rewatching it today, I was like, how, what did they see on this that made them go, oh yeah, this is a holding? I mean, John knocks the guy's hands down, the guy falls. It was like, I have no idea what they're looking at. So that puts us behind the sticks, which sucks. I love this little delayed counter where Nico kind of like sprints the other way and he hands it off to Dylan.
Hands back.
We've run it a few times this season. We run it again later. It was a good play. Campbell had a really good pull on this play and a good block. So we get positive yardage. Overthrow by Nico. He misses Squirrel on the post. I mean, Squirrel is wide open.
I get frustrated with the overthrows. I did with Joe. I did with Hendon. And I do now. Some of these outside throws to the boundaries, okay, I can somewhat understand those if you're trying to put it outside shoulder and it goes a little bit too long out of bounds, or you guys got to step. Like the one that he threw to Chris, which was an overthrow, I mean, that had to be like a 40 or 50, 60-yard bomb. So that was like a really, really long throw. So I can understand it being a little bit more difficult to gauge. This one to Squirrel, I was furious about rewatching it. This is in front of you. It's a post route. It's maybe 30, 40 yards. It's great protection. There's no excuse to not hit this throw. I will give you a small excuse when you're going to the boundaries and to the sidelines, but something square in front of you that Dude, there's no safety. You have all the field in the world. You can either put it on a rope and let him catch it and walk in, or throw it out and let him run under it. This cannot be missed. This cannot be missed, Kyler. This was a bad throw.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that your point of he could have done a rope or he could have tossed it up and let him run under it. That makes it even more apparent that it's like you had multiple ways to throw this for a completion, and it was still an overthrow.
Ugh.
So he misses on there. We get a PI on the next play, which gets us a first down. Brazel on a comeback hits him right in the chest, and he drops it. And, great protection again. Talk about a difference in week to week. Last week, I was talking about protection and getting all in Nico's face and too much pressure. There wasn't – he had great pockets all game. All game. There was only a few times where it fell apart. He had great pockets all game. But, Brazel drops the comeback. And then they try a little screen on the outside on 3rd and long. And it looked like if it were to be set up correctly, it's man coverage outside. You got Kitzelman in front blocking. And the defender who's on Dante is 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, 12 maybe. Lance trips while he's trying to get out. If he gets out there and possibly gets on that guy, Dante could get a first down.
Yeah.
So it's just, these first 3 drives, it's missed opportunities overthrowing guys. It's missed opportunities on trying to catch balls and just missed things where 10 guys are doing it and the 11th can't get there.
So I have on here the very first play, Nico's ball got tipped. I don't know what he's seen because thank goodness the ball got tipped because it looked like there was where he was going to try to fit it in, that there was 3 or 4 Bama guys. I wish he just would have hit Deshaun Bishop early. And then the only other thing on this drive was really good hard running by Deshaun Bishop. So I appreciate that. And then I thought it was right in front of me. I thought, Chris caught it. And then that guy, the DB, came through and played it right out of his hands. I thought it was a great play, meaning
the DB.
Yeah, it was just a really good play. It was a really good play.
Okay, next drive. This is the first interception, which Gaston throws. Ethan Davis on a little comeback. He's the last read. You watch Nico go all the way across the field, and then he throws it to him. And it's like, these are the kind of things you see out of Nico. You're like, this guy's good. Like, he's going to be good.
He just feels so much more comfortable throwing those hitches and some of those comeback out routes and crossing routes across the body when he's out. It's the posts and the goes that are just bothering him because all these other ones are usually really, really good.
Yeah. There's some pressure on the right side from Carrick, but he still has a hold of his guy, and there's still a lane to step up into. Now there's a spy that's coming. He's a late add-on, and Nico feels the pressure, and it felt like, hey, eyes are down. There's no looking downfield. He's running this. This is the one where he gets hurt, and we're not sure what the injury is. He throws it out to Dylan. Heads up play by Dylan, seeing that ball's behind him, picking it up and running. Some guys just let it go. You know what I mean? So he was paying attention.
Got the dang first down if Nico's knee hadn't been down.
Exactly.
Or he got really close to it.
And then Gaston comes in. Gaston, dude, you haven't warmed up. You haven't touched the ball. Chill out. We don't need you to be a Superman right now, okay? We need to play good defense and win the damn ball game if our first string quarterback is out. And him just chucking it off his back foot after not warming up. It's like, why did you think that ball was going to get there?
He actually had Ethan Davis coming across on a climb route that if he wanted to really let it go, he could have thrown it there.
And it's like, I get it. There's a little bit of pressure and that makes it harder, but be safe, not drastic as a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Next drive, Nico comes back in. I would as the drive was going on, I'm like, I feel like Nico's like, all right, I'm fucking pissed. getting hurt. I can't, like, we're not completing balls. We got to do something. That's how it felt on the drive. And he was just like, completion. And I think it got overzealous because he's like, I'm going to make a damn throw. I'm going to put the team on my back. And he throws that pick at the end of the drive. So to start, motion. So this was, I thought, a great play by the defense where like that we motion stays over and it looks like the linebacker's going with him. It kind of like looks like it's going to be man. And then they drop into zone. And then he hits Brew in between the zones on that slant. And it's like, dude, that kind of throw is hard to make.
Mm-hmm.
And he makes that throw.
And I just love them getting him out of the pocket.
Yeah. Then Nico pulls on a running back counter. Love it. Make the defense. Keep them honest, right? Make them think, hey, there's other things that could be going on. It's not just running back counter every time. Yep. Brazel, a good diving catch on the comeback. So he goes and gets that ball. Love that. Love the effort, right? That's what we want to see out of guys.
Make plays.
Yep. Brew redirects on a scramble drill. He's running a dig. He's trying to go inside. He sees Nico start scrambling. He puts his foot in the ground, starts heading towards the sideline, and Nico hits him on the run. And it's another great throw by Nico on the run, going the opposite way of his throwing arm, and good like decision making by Brew there. Let's see. And then this is good pass pro, but also very good coverage. So Nico's like, all right, I got to get outside the pocket to try and do something. And he gets outside the pocket. And then I don't know what he's like, why that's the decision, right? You have points in your back pocket. You have a field goal. Where are you going? That's where I was like, he is trying too much.
Yeah, in the stadium, it looked very, very much like, yo, dude, just run out of bounds, get what you can get, don't take a hit, don't let it go. And then when you watch it, it looks like in the stadium, it looks like he's forcing something really, really stupid, get out of bounds. On TV, when I watched it, it still has that vibe, but it was almost it almost looked better on TV in a way, meaning like I didn't feel as bad because it looks like he's got something, he's going to throw it and the guy just hits his arm. Does that make sense?
It does. So, I mean, it makes sense, but when you look at it, he doesn't have something.
No, I know. Like I'm not defending him. Defending him. I'm just saying that I thought it looked really bad in person. On TV, it was still bad, but not as bad.
But it's just you have to have that awareness and feel that, like, hey, if I pull my arm up, it's getting hit.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Okay, so next drive, this is one of our missed field goals on the next one. Let's see.
And that was we had the one that was wide right, and then the other one I couldn't see in the stadium. Did it get blocked or something? Because it looked like a pretty bad kick.
I don't think it got blocked. They didn't like mention it, and it kind of looked duckish though when it came off. Okay. So easy comeback to Dante, which was great. It's just like now we're seeing those plays again. We saw them all the time in 22. I never felt like we really were seeing them this year. So it's like we're seeing more of them. They get a hands to the face call on Carrick, so that gets us extra yardage. And then, we're running inside zone, and I see like Sprague's like doesn't take off to the linebacker and just like doesn't block him. Linebacker makes a tackle at the line of scrimmage, and we're sitting there on third down, and it's a third and manageable, but then the ball gets batted as he tries to throw. So it's just like, guys, there's little things that can make such a big difference. Like if Sprague's like, if you run your ass off and get up to that linebacker and fight across his face and not hesitate like he did, maybe it's 3rd and 2 and we can run the ball, and not 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7 and we're trying to pass. Like those kind of things just make such a big difference.
It is weird to me, though, that our quarterback is 6'6", and I've seen like 5 batted balls this season.
That's true. And then we, get the ball before half to try and do something, and Carrick loses his hands and gets beat for a sack. As soon as that happens and you have 35 seconds left, and now you're in 2nd and 17, listen, pack it up, regroup, come out in halftime. No more booze. I don't want to see that.
Thank you.
I don't want to see that. Okay. So after halftime, we got the ball first. Play. He misses Brazel sitting in between zones. It's just what's happening? What's going on? I don't understand how you miss him. Then he hits Brew on a slant, and he's just on the money. It's perfect. It's right where it needs to be.
We like to ride the roller coaster.
Yeah, we do. Up and down, up and down. This is the play action deep ball to Squirrel, and he drops it. Hits him right in the hands, and he drops it. And it's
is this the one where he's diving?
I mean, he jumps and puts both hands on it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a dive, but not like really.
Yeah. He wasn't having to dive like this. He's just going like this. Yeah. I was in line to get my 5th water of the day because of all the yelling, and I kind of lost it out there. I was pissed. I was like, dude,
yeah,
make a play. Make a play. It hits you in the fucking hands, bro. Make a play.
Have to. Then they get a sack. It's a slide protection, and the linebacker scrapes over to the backside. It's like a late delayed blitz. And it's one of those ones where, you slide everyone over, you slide the offensive line over, running back comes on the edge. He picks up a blitzer, right? And then this is very difficult. I've had to do it before myself. But as the tackle, you slide down, your gap is on the inside. When guys go to the outside, you think the running back is going to pick up the guy on the outside. But 2 guys go to the outside. What needs to happen is Dane needs to try and pass off his dude and get back to the extra blitzer. That's what's supposed to happen on that play. But it's like that is your worst case scenario, right? Yeah, that sucks. Like that is a very difficult play for Dane to have to make. But that's the only way that we're going to block this.
Gotcha.
Because they kind of overload the blitz to that side, the direction you're sliding away from. You know what I mean?
I'm following you. Yeah, no, I'm following.
So it's tough, but that is who should have picked it up.
Gotcha.
If you're going to perfect world.
Hey, we're right. This is the most Reed thing I'm ever going to do. We're right in the middle of offense, but I'm watching this again. It's the one of the 3rd and 7 with 1:57 to go. And we bring the blitz. Milrow tries to hit his guy on a drag mesh route. I got this thing paused, Kyler. Our guys are as sticky gets. Ricky, perfect up top. Jalen McMurray, perfect. Will Brooks, perfect. They try to pick Boo. Boo goes over top of it and is so damn fast and speedy that he gets right back in position. Of course, you've already mentioned it. Jalen Milrow throws it behind him because he didn't play well. And if he does catch this, Boo's still there to make the tackle to force 4th down. You already said it earlier. I'll steal what you say. Embarrassment of riches right now to have DBs that can lock up people like that.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, continue.
And then plenty of time in the pocket. Nico has to scramble because of coverage and doesn't get the first down, so we end up punting. This next drive, 91 yards, 7 plays, and a touchdown. This is nut cutting time. This is where people started to take advantage and do what they were supposed to be doing. So, hat on a hat in the run game. Dylan does a great job. Follow stays on the.
What quarter? Where are you at here on the quarters?
We're in the 3rd quarter.
I know, but how late in the 3rd quarter?
So this is probably, because I don't have a time written down, this is probably like 9 minutes left.
Okay.
I think.
Got it.
Hat on a hat. He follows, stays in the lead inside. I love it. Another just plenty of time in the pocket the next play, and Nico just scrambles, gets like 6 or 7 yards, running the outside. It's like, great. That's why we like having a mobile quarterback, right? Because sometimes coverage is good. This play, I like watching on TV, I thought Dylan was going to get caught like 3 times, and he just continues to outrun everybody. He bounces outside on a counter, and he outruns the linebacker, and then he outruns the nickel, and then he's outrunning the safety. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy is ridiculous.
It felt that exact same way in there. Exactly.
Like it was like, oh, it's gonna be 5 yards. Oh no, wait. Oh, it's gonna be 10 yards. Oh, wait. Oh my gosh. He just took it 25 yards downfield. It was incredible. This play by Nico. They send 6 on the blitz. We've got 7 in there to block. And it kind of collapses on him. And he uses his strength to get through 2 arm tackles around him and takes off. He does a little pump fake, makes the defender jump, and he just keeps running and running and running. And those are like the Hendon Hooker plays we saw versus Bama and versus Florida. You know what I mean? That's the kind of, oh man, having that mobility in a quarterback position, you get to take advantage of so many different things.
It's simple. It's super simple. It's one word. Well, maybe 2 words, hyphenated, 1 word. It's playmaking.
Yeah.
You just have to do it. You have to make plays, and he did it finally.
Yeah, he really did.
And he was in a big spot when you needed it, you know.
And then this is one of those times where I was like, oh no, we're going to shoot ourselves in the foot again, because there's a slant to Brew, and it hits Brew in the hands, and he drops it. And I'm like, dude, it's going to it's happening again, where we're getting down to the end zone and then guys aren't making plays. Because the next play, before I realized it was a PI, great play design. He motion stays into the backfield like you would do on any other counter, and all of a sudden he takes off towards the end zone. They end up holding him, but did
they call PI on that one? That was the one they called. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Call PI on that one, which it was, because the guy ended up like holding around stays.
When Brew freaking dropped that, I literally was standing watching it, and when he dropped it, I immediately dropped, sat in my chair, and just went like this, like, dude, no way, because Brew is usually the short-handed guy.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, oh, no fucking way. Like,
there's no way this is happening.
And then I felt like in the stadium, I felt like the flag, like I love the play design. I saw it. I'm like, oh, I think he's there. And then we all were like, boo, where's the flag? But we couldn't really see it. It was a delayed gratification. But
yeah,
anyways.
no. And like, watching it on TV, I was like, oh no, he missed him. He had a step. Nico missed him because it was so fast and bang, bang. Yeah. And the camera wasn't really following stays. They thought it was a run. So like my immediate reaction was like bad throw. And then I was like, oh no, he got held. And then the guy actually tipped the ball away.
Which sometimes at the ball, if it gets tipped, then there won't be a PI.
Yeah, exactly. And then inside zone, we're down on the 2-yard line. Inside zone, Dylan finds the cracks. He finds the cracks in the defense and the blocking. It's not always going to be a wide open hole, but he hits it at 1,000 miles an hour and is able to just get into the end zone. It's fantastic. He does it again later. The exact same thing. He finds a crack and he scores that touchdown.
Yeah.
So that's that drive. Great touchdown scoring drive. Great tie in the game. Alabama comes. They kick their field goal. They make it 10-7. We get the ball again. This is the illegal substitution by Alabama. 12 men. I mean, just a very odd thing. Like, I know
when they shoved him on there. When they shoved him.
Yeah, they showed it.
Yeah. No, I'm saying when they shoved the guy on the side. Yeah. People went berserk in the stadium.
Yeah, berserk. I could hear it. And it was wild. Kayla and DeBoer were like fighting the thing, and they were like, "Oh yeah, they should have let him substitute." I'm like, "It's the first play of a drive. No one's substituting. Everyone has their men out there. No, there's not a substitution time. Like, you broke the huddle with these guys, and then you tried to sub in way later. It's like, I just didn't. I was like, whatever. So that gives us like a little bit of a jump start. Then we get a nice counterplay going. Ketzelman and Lance wash down that entire side of the defensive line. It was fantastic. We get like, I think like 12 yards on that run. It was great. Then dude, this throw by Nico is the exact reason that Nico has the hype, that people love him the way that he is, that he is seen as the next guy. He, in an empty backfield, rolls out to his right on the run, hits Dante with an absolute dime bucket. That kind of throw, guys can't make that throw. There are a lot of guys playing right now, starting quarterbacks in college, that cannot make that throw. And that is one of the most impressive things I've seen. And Dante fingertip catches this thing.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned
fingertips makes a play.
I'm glad you mentioned the catch, because the pass was perfect. I think it's funny that he finally hits a deep shot, and it's when he's on the run. It's almost like if Nico has a layup, he can't make it, but if he's got to hit a fading three, he makes it.
Yeah.
But it was just a dime, and I just appreciate Dante paying that throw off.
Yes.
Because it just felt like it was –
we weren't able to pay off the good throws.
I just tweeted it out during the game. I was like, man, like, not an attack. And I didn't mean an attack on Iowa. Hell with Iowa. I meant not an attack on our offense. I wasn't trying to be negative, but it's like, damn, this is what it feels like to be an Iowa fan, because our defense is so good. But to pay it off, man, it meant everything. I mean, it meant everything.
And then Bama defender standing over the ball after that. I was getting furious watching it. I was like, get their ass out of there. And I saw Cooper start to push him. I'm like, yeah, fucking hit his ass. Like, get him off the ball. Because we're trying to go fast. We didn't sub anybody. That guy's trying to slow it down. He's like literally calling the ref over to stand over the ball.
Yeah.
Set the ball. I'm like, get the out of the way, dude. I'm about to run this through your face. And then that's what we do.
Yeah.
Running through their face. Dylan finds the crack again. Touchdown.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Next drive, 9 plays, 29 yards, and a punt. But we're still in a good – I think it's 17-14 at this point. And we end up punting, just missed opportunities, right? And some Bama calls on this drive. So first play, Nico sees the loaded box. He pulls it out of the run, throws a hitch to Brew for 6 yards. That's exactly what we want out of our offense.
Yep.
Then Nico misses Brew on a seam that is just so wide open. And you're like, God dang it, Nico. Like you said, he misses the layups, but hits the threes. Like, what? How is this possible? It's great protection. He's got time. Steps up in the pocket. He just overthrows him.
Bro.
Overthrows him on the seam. It's wild.
That was about to be a massive gainer too from where he was, and the only one or two guys kind of where, because it was in front of us. I see Brew. I'm like, dude, and I'm just after the incompletion, I'm sitting there just daydreaming. I'm like, dude, he catches that, at least breaks 1 or 2 tackles. It takes the whole team to tackle, and we're probably down here at the 30. And it's just,
Deshaun, great hard run on 3rd and 2, fighting through, just arm tackles, gets a first down. Good pass pro. and he throws a deep ball to Brazel down the sidelines. And I know it's a technically diving catch by Brazel, but it's also like he dove for it and was like this. Like his hands were this close to his chest. Like it was coming right here into his chest and he drops it. So it's like, it's not one of those ones versus Florida that Mel Keaton made where he literally is diving, his arms are reached out. It's like Brazel probably could have caught that ball, and I expect him to. That was actually a pretty well thrown ball by Nico, not a miss by Nico. Deshaun, another great run. He follows his lead tight end and gets a first down on 3rd and short. Just, hey, yeah, we're missing the deep shots, but we're still taking them, and we're still getting first downs. So we're moving. Kitzelman, literally, they call misalignment. He is the end man, so Caleb Webb is not allowed to catch it. I rewatch. Kitzelman runs out there, and he points back like a wide receiver is supposed to do. You point back to say, hey, I'm off the ball. He thinks he is lined up off the ball. This is not like him MAing and da-da-da-da. What he should have done is actually looked at the ref, but we go so fast that he doesn't have time to look at the ref and then also get to the ball. And ref says he's on the line of scrimmage. Can't do that. Puts us behind the sticks. And that would have been another first down. So we would have kept.
What play was that one again?
That's the one that was just like a little comeback to Caleb. He catches it right at the first down marker.
Low. Yeah.
And we think it's going to be a first down, and they call illegal formation.
Yeah. That was I'm glad you talked about that because it was a really good play, meaning low throw, catch, and I didn't know what it was. We thought that it was illegal formation. Is that what you said?
Yeah, because
we thought in the stadium that he wasn't. We thought in the stadium that he wasn't set.
Yeah, no, it was illegal formation because they said that Caleb was covered. He wasn't the end man on the line of scrimmage. So he's not allowed to catch the ball.
Yeah.
So, and then this 3rd and 10, we run an option. And what a play call. And that moment, Alabama lines up all up on the line of scrimmage, 6 dudes up there. And this is the perfect play call because you can block everyone but the end man. He pitches it out. You got a great block by Brew. Brazel is locked up on the corner, and the corner falls. Brazel does not throw him. Brazel does not hold on to him longer than he needs to. There's no like tugging jersey away, and they still call holding on Brazel.
If I'm not mistaken, because I freaking gushed. Like I see what they're doing. I'm like, okay, are they going to actually bring it? Will they drop out? Are we going to hit him with a dig, maybe a slant, maybe a hitch? And then right when it snapped and Nico takes that step out, I was like, oh my gosh, the speed option. And I swear to you, Kyler, it was like slow motion right in front of me. Nico holds it just long enough to get rid of it. Deshaun Bishop starts running his little ass off, his little beaver legs. And then I look and I'm like, oh my gosh, we got good blocking. I was like, he just called this and we're about to pick this up. And I was so juiced. And then when I saw the flag, once again, I just dropped straight to my seat and was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then everybody was texting like, terrible call. Then I finally got to rewatch it. And I was like, dude just got pancaked. And the thing is, it looked like we already had the first down when the guy fell, meaning it looked like Deshaun was already past him.
Yeah, he was, because they called the holding, which is 10 yards, but we end up in a 3rd and 5. So it was like we already had the first down.
Yeah.
So they bring back.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
They bring it back to a 3rd and 5, and we try and run counter. And for some reason, I think Lance thought it was a different play because he steps inside and turns his butt like inside where he's the front side supposed to be down blocking and like up to linebacker, and guy pulling around gets the end man. Like he turns his butt inside. So then it literally just creates this pile up where Lance's guy is sitting right there where the ball's supposed to go. And then John Campbell's guy, who when he's pulling, is sitting there. So it's like 2 guys sitting in the hole, then John and Lance and kind of no man's land, and Deshaun gets tackled. Or Dylan gets tackled. He tries to do what he can. But Can't do anything. So we end up punting. And then this next drive, just a huge.
Just
Hey, we got
is this
this
the
is the
pound?
touchdown.
Is this the pound and then the fade?
Yeah,
Wow.
this is the touchdown, and this what we mentioned earlier on here, where we had quarterback counter with a sweep. They run this twice. Nico keeps it once on the first play, then he gives it to Dylan the next time, like 2 plays later, and they both get about 8 or 9 yards on both runs. And it's the exact same play, exact same formation. You just hand it off or don't hand it off. And it worked great on this drive alone. So another thing I kind of wanted to shout out is on 2nd and 6, okay, Dane is at right tackle, and he gets beat across. He gets beat inside on pass pro, and instead of hooking his arm around that guy like this, like we've seen John Campbell do, he lets him go. He doesn't hold on the play. It ends up being an incomplete pass. Nico tries to throw it out to Dylan. It hits the ground, hits the turf. It is now 3rd and 6, not 3rd and 16. And it's those kinds of things where I've seen Lance and I've seen John Campbell. You got beat, and now you're holding the dude. And now you're blatantly holding him. And now you're making it even worse on us when it's just like, hey, you got beat. Do what you can. Get your hip in front of him, butt in front of him, something like that. But do not hold the guy.
It's a great point. Excellent.
Do not hold the guy. Live to play another down.
Great shout out. Yeah. I didn't get to see that, so that's nice.
Yeah. This great pass pro by Dylan. Lance gets beat inside, and Dylan picks his guy up, gives Nico just enough time to throw the ball, and it looks like another overthrow to Brazel, but Brazel gets held.
Yeah.
So
yes.
He could have been open for it, but gets held. So we get the holding call. We get a first down. Now we run the quarterback counter, and he gives it to Dylan, and he takes it around the edge for another huge gain.
The Brazel was right in front of us, and it felt like another delay too, because I'm watching it. Like I see the snap, I'm kind of watching the routes develop. I see Chris, he lets it go, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, if he doesn't call this, and finally he did, it was very much a relief.
Yeah. So like I said, the sweep gets us in like 2nd and short. Then 2 plays in a row. Dylan's patience was just great. I mean, him getting the ball, just kind of sitting back there. Okay, let me hit this. And then next play, sitting back there, let me hit this. And he gains like 7 yards, then another 7 yards. And I think this is where you were talking about, where it's like,
oh yeah,
run the ball, run the ball. Like that's what we were doing, right?
I jinxed him.
On the outside. Now we do a counter to the right. Now we do an inside zone to the left. And Dylan's just like, patience. Let me find the gap. Let me find the hole. And it's just constant, like another 5, another 6, another 7, another 8, right? And you're demoralizing that defense as you go. And then fantastic pass pro. And Brazel, he hits him for that diving touchdown catch. And the air that he puts on this ball as he lets it go, and the touch that he puts on it, and it's only where his wide receiver can get it. Just absolutely beautiful. And I'll tell you this, on the first view of it, I thought he's going to the outside receiver, and I think it was Brew, and Brew ran the wrong route. Like that's literally what I thought in real time. Like as soon as he let go of the ball, I go, oh no, he ran the wrong route. He did a comeback, and Nico threw a fade because the camera didn't like follow Brazel. Like it wasn't
I see
head.
Yeah.
And then I see Brazel like, oh no, he's throwing it to him and just catches it. That's where here's the opportunity, right? Here's your chance. Are you going to make a play for your team? Are you going to step up in this big moment? That's the only way you're going to win this game. You have to step up.
Yep.
You have to make a difference. And Brazel does that. Touchdown, gets us ahead, 21-17. And from that point forward, we're just running the ball when we can. We're trying to run out clock.
Make them use timeouts.
Exactly what we're doing.
Make them use timeouts.
Make them use timeouts. Be careful with that football. And there's just, just that the fact that we were able to fight all the way back, and it's, we're not scoring any points in the first half, but we score 24 in the second half. That's the biggest difference. And now, Georgia wasn't able to, but Alabama has now had these comebacks on them a good amount. And I think it's starting to be a vibe for Kalen DeBoer and this Alabama team. And I can't even imagine what Alabama fans are feeling right now. 2 losses, and their second game to the Vols, baby.
They just can't. They can't beat the state of Tennessee. They should play Memphis next. But the funny thing is, man, I think I jinxed us because we were running the ball so well, and then I got up, got fired up, and I yelled so much and got so fired up that I had to stop for a second in my head, like when your head kind of gets hurt, and then you're like, oh, okay, take a breath. And Megan was like cracking up at me. But then on the 3rd and 5, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, where are we going here? What's he going to dial up? What's he going to do? I was like, maybe he runs it and tries to go for, 2. I really didn't know what he was going to do because really now thinking about it, it was smart because you don't want to run it to maybe try to go for on 4th down because you'll end up probably kicking the field goal to make it 17-17.
Yep.
So it's like, hey, let me just go ahead and take my shot at the end zone. If we don't, then I'll kick the field goal. And I like it with Chris, bigger guy. He's in the slot. And once again, Nico might not be able to hit a layup, but this is a very tough throw because the back of the end zone is not far away. It's a very short little touch throw that you have to make. Can't be too short, can't be too far, but let me get my guy a chance to make a play where only he can make the play. And they call it, and I see it's a pass, and I look, and I was like, he's got him. And I thought I jinxed it, but he throws it and he catches it, and then we all go nuts. And you got to make plays, and they made them.
You got to.
It was really cool to end it too in victory formation. Watch those Bama fans leave. Watch everybody start lighting the stogies. It was awesome. Flip this thing to bye week.
We can win this bye week. Huge. Get guys healthy. The last thing that anybody has seen from Tennessee is their comeback win versus Alabama, the number 7 ranked team. I can easily see this bye week. We get into Kentucky. People are like, oh, yeah, Tennessee's one of the top 4 teams in the country. After, a couple other teams play, lose, move around. Like, I think we can absolutely just win this bye week. And I'm so excited for how these bye weeks fell.
Yeah.
In those specific times. Like, it was so needed.
So enjoy it. It's a great thing to be going into the bye week. Enjoy it. You can maybe enjoy it a little bit longer, but then you got to get back to work. You came off a bye week and lost at Arkansas. The great news about it is the next game's at home. Mm-hmm. The other good news about it is against Kentucky.
Yep.
And we usually have Kentucky's number, but I said it earlier, you still have to come out and play and execute. And I hope they don't come out sleepy because I don't care how bad Kentucky is. They're usually going to give us a fight or do everything they can to try to ruin our season. They already went on the road and beat Ole Miss, so they're capable. So, Listen, enjoy the bye week, but you know what happened the last time off a bye week, so don't let it happen again.
Exactly. Can't happen again. We got to come in locked in. Luckily, it is a home game, like you said. And then, man, the rest of the season, you got Kentucky, Mississippi State, UTEP, Georgia, Vandy.
In that order?
I think it might go. No, it goes Kentucky, Mississippi State, Georgia, UTEP, Vandy.
Yeah.
So, man, we win this Kentucky game. I feel really good going into Mississippi State, and then you got a 8-1 team going to Florida, but
going to Georgia, you mean?
Yeah, Georgia.
See you, brother.
See you, buddy. All right. thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. If you're just listening, rate and review, download and re-download. Follow us on all those listening platforms. Also, follow us on social media at Pancakes and Bacon for our main account on Twitter, at Pancakes and Bacon _RTI on Instagram. If you want to follow Reed, is at rbacon26 on Twitter. Mine is just at Kyler Kerbyson on all social media, so check me out there. God, what a great feeling. We got to win. Such a great weekend going into the bye week. And just incredible. So thank you guys for being the best fans in the world. And as always, go Vols.